Hello, I'm Executive Chef Joseph Schwartz. Welcome to our kitchen. Today I'd like to share with you my procedure and recipe for making one of my favorite side dishes. This will be a sweet potato strudel with orange blossom honey infused with rosemary and pistachio. This side dish is very versatile. Can go with just about any protein from seafood to duck, any poultry, elk, lamb, venison, pork, you name it, it'll go with it. So join me now as I show you how I prepare this. Let us begin with cooking our sweet potatoes in salted water. Sweet potatoes cook a little faster than other potatoes, so check back on them after about 10 minutes. Be careful to not overcook the potatoes. We want the potatoes to still be firm and not mushy. Well, it's been about 10 minutes. The potato is almost there. We have a few of the little bit larger cuts that are having a little bit of resistance. So 2 more minutes and we will drain them. Well, here we are. The potatoes are drained. I want to go ahead and smash these up. Well, here we are with our potatoes smashed. I recommend using a potato masher like this, or a food mill or ricer, because at the end of the day you really want these to be very light, fluffy, and silky smooth. So next we will add our butter. Now we will add some cream. Be careful not to add too much heavy cream. We want these potatoes to be pretty stiff at the end of the day. Very much like if we were making a cottage pie or shepherd's pie. You don't want them too fatty from the butter and too watery from the cream. Because when you bake it, what'll happen is they'll just blow out and come out flat as a pancake. By us having it a little bit drier, they will maintain their shape and height. Now, I say drier, I don't mean they will be dry. They're still going to be creamy, but they're just not going to be watery and runny. We will adjust our seasonings and then on to the next step. So one ingredient I want to add to our mashed potato is sage. Sweet potato and sage is really nice. And the way we're going to cut this is called chiffonade. Another herb to slice this way or chop this way is basil. So what you do is you stack your leaves on top of each other. We're going to roll it nice and tight. And then go ahead and make very thin cuts. And those long strips that are falling off the side are what's referred to as chiffonade. Also, this works great on delicate leaf herbs like I mentioned. For instance, basil. If you've ever chopped basil before and it seems to be turning black on you as you're chopping it, it's not rotting. What happens is your knife is dull and it's actually bruising the herb. So having a sharp knife and cutting it this way enables us to get nice fine looking threads that are great in a dish. First thing I want to do is brush our phyllo with clarified butter. The clarified butter will do a few things for us. One, it's going to help the pastry stick together, or the dough stick together. It's going to give us some flavor, and it's also going to keep the dough from drying out. Also, what you're not using, how it's sitting here on the table, I have a damp towel or paper towel over top. Not too wet, simply because you don't want this to get really wet. Once it gets really wet, then it's almost like it's raw dough. We will repeat this with each layer until we get 5 layers of phyllo. Now that we have our 5th layer on, we want to take our whipped potatoes and pipe them. I try to make a nice even layer across. Also leave myself a little room at the end there. As we roll this, some will push out to the sides. Not a big deal. But now I like to flip it. Get our pastry around. And then just continue with your plastic and roll it all the way around. Now the reason I only go 5 layers is because once you make one complete roll, you have 5 layers of phyllo around the whole strudel. And then every additional time is 5 more layers. I really don't want 15 and 20 layers of phyllo on here. I literally just want that 10 layers on there and it'll be fine. Now that we have our roll, we will carefully transfer this to a sheet pan lined with parchment paper. Well, now that we have our strudel safely on the sheet pan, let's go ahead and brush it with honey. This is orange blossom honey that has been infused with rosemary. We're gonna take it all the way around, all edges on it, except the bottom. And just make sure you have a nice even coating all over. So now that we have it brushed, let's sprinkle some chopped pistachio. Now we put these in the freezer for 30 to 45 minutes. We are just looking to set the phyllo and for the potatoes to stiffen up so we can go ahead and slice it into portions. Well, here they are out of the freezer. They've been there about 30, 40 minutes. They are stiff enough to work with. First thing I like to do is peel it away from the parchment because it will stick a little. And then go ahead and slice off the end. That piece is gonna burn up a little bit anyway. And then we will go ahead and cut them into the portions to which we are looking for. Go ahead and space them out. And then we will put them to an oven, 425 degrees, for only about 10 to 12 minutes. You're only looking to get some nice color on the phyllo and then the potatoes to warm up. And remember, these are not completely frozen. They are just, par frozen. Now, so you know, these things actually freeze very well. We could freeze these for a month if you wanted to, and then just pull them out when you need them and bake them again, same temperatures. It's still, even though it's frozen, it's still only gonna take about 10 to 15 minutes. You'd be surprised how fast the potatoes actually thaw out and warm up. Well, there you have it, into the oven. Well, there you have sweet potato strudel with a rosemary infused honey and pistachio. Not difficult to make. It's a couple little processes and some little tricks. The biggest one is probably not making the mashed potatoes too loose and too wet. Also is taking care of the phyllo and not allowing it to dry out on you. And that is it. This is very versatile. You could serve it with just about any protein. I have served this for as many as 800 people in a banquet capacity in one of my hotels, resorts. I serve it to friends and family during holidays. It's a nice little go-to side dish. It's something different, it's unique, and definitely will be a favorite of yours and your guests if you try it. Well, thank you very much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this demonstration, and I hope it gives you some other ideas on how to utilize sweet potatoes and inspires you to take it to another level. Thanks again for joining. Enjoy it, Fayette.